guys, so today I wanted to do a debrief follow-up type blog from what's happened over the events of the last 4 weeks for me getting back on stage after having the twins and competing. I've been getting asked a lot of questions online and I just wanted to be able to give you guys as much information in one video so that you guys can refer back to as required and answer all those questions for you. I was hoping to do this vlog with Nath so that you can get more of the scientific and the background information behind why we do what we do, and a bit more in-depth information, I guess, of the protocols and the methods that we use at Hold Your Own. However, we've only been home for a couple of days and life has been crazy since we arrived back home. We're still living out of suitcases, we haven't had a chance to unpack, and he's actually at the movies at the moment with the boys and the girls are down for their nap. So I thought I'd quickly get this vlog done now while I've got a minute. Otherwise I thought I would never get it done and out to you guys. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to recap what has happened in the last couple of weeks, my first comps and what I did to achieve the results that I achieved, and then I'll go through the questions that I was asked on Instagram for you all and cover all of those as well. So over the last 4 weeks I competed 3 times. I did the Queensland State Show. That show then qualified me for the Arnold Classic, and then I had the decision of whether I went on to Australia or I went over to America and did that show. Obviously going over to America, there's a few factors that Nathan and I had to consider. Number one being the cost. I don't have any sponsors behind me, so for me to get to America, it cost us between $10,000 and $15,000, and that's flying economy, not staying anywhere special. But because it is in Ohio, it's a long flight, as well as the fact we had to decide whether we were going to take the kids over there, what we were going to do with them, how we were going to make sure that they were able to get to school and everything else that revolves around that. So that was a hard process, I guess, for us to consider. But my biggest goal, my biggest dream was always to beat where I placed before I had the twins. And the show that I did before I had the twins was the Arnold Classic Ohio. So that's why we went over. And before I had the twins, I placed 5th. And to me, that was amazing. That was such a good result. And when I went over this time, I placed 3rd. So I actually placed a lot higher. And the lineup was so much harder this time. So I'm so incredibly happy with how I placed and how I looked and how I held my own on an international stage. There was 26 or 29 girls that I competed against in Ohio, and they were from Brazil, Italy, Russia, America, Hungary. They were amazing. Japan, every country you can think of, they were there. And the quality was just next level. The girl that I thought was going to win didn't even place top 6. And so to me, that really reiterated that you should never make the judgments based on your own opinions, because you never know what the judges are looking for on any given day. If I had seen that girl's social media account and the photos and how she looked before I competed, I don't know whether I would have gotten on stage, because she was that amazing. So if you are looking at competing, my biggest message to you all is do not compare yourself with other people, in particularly on social media. You never know what the judges are going to look for, and although someone may look completely amazing on social media in your opinion, you are so critical of how you look that you're never going to know how you would compare on the day given what the judges want. So number one, don't compare yourself. So we went overseas, did America. I placed 3rd. So I placed 1st in Queensland, 3rd in America at the international lineup. And then we came home. We didn't get home till the Wednesday just due to travel time. We left straight away, didn't come home till the Wednesday. We've been traveling for 4 days straight and decided to jump back on stage for the Arnold Classic Australia. We had already booked flights and accommodation down there because Nathan was working at the expo, and so I did 3 weeks back to back of the peak weeks, and I placed 1st at the Arnold Classic Australia. So I was so incredibly happy with my comeback, I guess, after having the twins. The biggest thing for me though wasn't so much the placings, it was how I got to the stage. So previously I had been prepped by everyone except Nathan. I have had 4 or 5 coaches in my competing history, and the last time I competed I was 1100 calories. I was doing cardio twice per day, I was doing weight training I was hungry, I couldn't think straight, it was unhealthy. I lost my period, and after the comp, I blew out. My skin was bad. I felt mentally unsure of what I wanted to do next. And for me, I really wanted to be able to prove that that is not the only way. And if I could go back in time, I wish that I knew what I knew now, and I want everyone that competes to be able to have access to this knowledge and know that there are more methods and there are other ways out there. So I guess it's scary as a competitor to not do what you're used to doing. And I get that, trust me, I get that. I water depleted last time. I did endless cardio last time. And I felt like if I wasn't doing that cardio, I wasn't getting leaner. But this time, I did no cardio. Now, Nathan is a big believer on not doing cardio unless you need to do it, other than if you enjoy running for mental release, or if you are an athlete, or if you wanted to do it for cardiovascular health. So if you're trying to lose body fat, introducing cardio as a steady state cardio, there's so many research articles and so many studies that have been done to prove two different things. HIIT cardio is more effective in fat loss, number one. Number two is weight training actually burns more calories over a 24-hour period than cardio. So if you're looking to lose body fat, weight training is always going to be more beneficial. However, if you are needing to do excess other than weight training, HIIT is the way to go. But in saying that, you should not go from nothing to an hour a day of HIIT cardio. Start little. There's no need to increase straight away and jump straight into it, because if you're giving everything you've got, if you're training 7 days a week and you're doing an hour a day of HIIT cardio, where are you going to go from there? There's nowhere else to progress to. So when your body fat stalls and you stop losing body fat, you cannot introduce, another hour a day of cardio? So then what? You get to 3 hours a day of cardio, 2 hours of weight training, you're eating no food and you're still not losing body fat because your body thinks that it's starving. So if you are going to introduce HIIT cardio, just start with little amounts and say 1 day a week, 5 minutes. See what happens. And it's all measurable. You need to make sure that you measure what you're doing. So that's the whole cardio thing. And when I do have Nathan with me, I will do a bigger vlog on that topic, because I know that so many people are intrigued by that. And I know that when we say that we get our athletes on stage with no cardio, everyone panics and they're like, how did you do this? And it's different. And people don't particularly like different, and they don't understand it. So they hate on what they don't understand. And I know that for my bod girls that are following the bod, you'll note that there's a lot of functional sessions in the bod program, and they're amazing. They're HIIT sessions, and they are designed to push your fitness abilities and increase your cardiovascular health. However, because I was aiming for this comp, I stopped doing the functional sessions, because otherwise I was going to have to either compensate with more training in order to lose the body fat down the track, or lower my food, because I was already having a massive output. I think I can hear the girls. So I stopped doing those functional sessions when I knew that I was going to compete. Now, I only decided at 6 weeks out that I was going to compete, and the reason being behind how I could get to stage 6 weeks out with my prep was because I live lean year round. I've done this for the last 5 years. I live and breathe this, and I find that a lot of people that come into a competition preparation that have not necessarily an unhealthy lifestyle, but they don't do this every day, they don't enjoy it, they are the ones that tend to blow out at the end of a comp. So if you don't train regularly, if you don't eat regularly, if you don't enjoy eating the same consistent foods, or if you like going out drinking with your friends, it might hit you and it might impact you a lot harder than what it would for me, who genuinely lives like this year round. There's no changes for me. I basically can't prep year round. So that's why I was able to jump on stage in 6 weeks. The other reason being is that I'm a bikini athlete. I am not a bodybuilder. I did not have to get down to stupidly low body fat. I had to look like a healthy bikini body, and that's how I live year round. So that wasn't unachievable for me in 6 weeks. So the other thing that I really wanted to reiterate was about the water. So in previous comps, I have water depleted, and I understand that if athletes or competitors are watching this, they may feel like, oh no, I couldn't get on stage drinking water without depleting. Trust me, I understand it, and it was scary. The first comp I ever did without water depleting was the Queensland show, and I don't think I've ever looked as good as what I did on stage because I was full. In order to be full, you need to have water to shuttle the carbs. Carbs need water to shuttle into the muscles. And a lot of people that water deplete carb up without water, so therefore the whole protocols and the whole science behind it goes out the window. And yeah, so it was scary, but I've never looked as full as I did, and I'm really happy with how I look. So I would encourage everybody to, maybe do some research of your own, and as with anything, raising your children, eating well, whatever it is, do your own research, and if it doesn't sit well with you, don't do it. Nothing at all in your life should you be doing if you don't agree with it. So number one, make sure that you do your own research and 100% understand and everything. I encourage this with literally every single decision that you make. If you're not comfortable with the decision, don't do it. Cardio, water depletion. A lot of people have asked me what I put in my comp day bag. I think I might actually do a blog on this so that I can actually list it, but a few things off the top of my head. I had little tubs of salt, but again, I don't know how many grams or anything like that because that's from Nath. Nath coaches me, so I will get him on to do that. Salt, I had a pre-workout powder, and I took that before I went on stage just to give me a bit more fullness and keep my pump-up bands. I do not like pumping up with pump-up bands. I like my dumbbells. Most places do provide dumbbells for pump-up, but still I put my bands in anyway, and lucky I did because at the Arnold Classic Australia, they didn't have dumbbells. In America, they had dumbbells, and Queensland, they didn't have dumbbells. So pump-up bands, a spare bikini, and I used GlamFit bikinis. I had spare earrings and spare jewellery. I had a little spongy thing that I used to fix my tan up. And on tan, I used Pro-Tan for Queensland's, Jantana, everyone says that I say things wrong, so Jantana or Jantana for America, for the Arnold Classic America, and then I used Pro-Tan for Australia. Out of all of my tans, I liked the American tan the best, and I had prejudging on the Thursday and finals on the Saturday, and that lasted those whole 2 days. So that's my recommendation. Again, personal preference, personal choice. My shoes. So I broke my shoes in America, and I had to go to I think they're called cobblers, but it's a shoe repair man to have my shoes super glued up and fixed. And then while we were there, I got another pair of shoes as a spare just in case. However, they had a platform on them, so I know that with the federation I competed in, I wasn't allowed to wear them, but I had them just in case my heels broke. What else did I have? I think that was it. Maybe a brush, a towel to lay on. If you're going somewhere cold, I would seriously bring a blanket. It might sound crazy. And another little tip for competitors out there is that if you know the running order roughly and you know when you're going to be on stage, I would not be getting ready any sooner than an hour before. I would literally wear a big jumper or a blanket, wrap yourself in it, lay down and relax. Usually the shows run really slow and really long and late, and they're massive days. Just lay down, don't stress, and relax. If you've got a coach, your coach will be in charge of everything, which is a great way to be. I know that for us, when we go to comps, we have a whole bunch of our team, and we've got all of our coaches there, and our coaches just tell our athletes what to do. So it's good to have a coach or a team because at least that way you feel a part of the environment. Backstage was interesting to say the least. Queensland's was amazing. I had so many amazing bod girls that came up to support me for my first show back. There was girls that had flown from Melbourne and Sydney, and I had my family there and my girls, and it was amazing. I had all the coaches there, and it was great. It was such an awesome vibe. And the stage was beautifully presented, and yeah, it was great. It was an awesome show. So that was Queensland's. In America, it was a little bit different. It was a big backstage area, and it was really well set out in that they had huge dressing rooms and you weren't overcrowded in there, and they had a massive pump-up area. However, Nath wasn't allowed backstage with me, so we had to sort of coordinate what I was doing and when I was doing it for the entire day. The other thing was that in America, everyone was from overseas and international, so not very many people spoke English, so it was a little bit hard to understand what the other girls were doing or talking to you about. And that I guess in other nationalities, they may come across rude when they're not meaning to, and it might just be the language barrier. Arnold Classic Australia was hard in the fact that I think that people see me online and assume things without getting to know me, and they don't speak to me and then they make judgments of me first. And I'm a big believer in always judging people by your interactions with them and never going on somebody else's opinion, because somebody else's opinion might be because of XYZ's opinion of that opinion, and it just gets so intertwined and you don't even know why they don't like that person. So when I walked backstage, I walked through, I guess there was a lot of people there by the time I had arrived, and I had my suitcase, and a lot of girls just did not like me. And I walked through and it was a horrible feeling. And I walked out and burst into tears to Nathan. I just said, I don't want to do this show. This isn't what I came here to feel like. And Nath was like, the only reason that anybody is ever mean to you is because they're intimidated by you. And I was like, doesn't make me feel any better. So that was really hard. And so I consciously made an effort to go out of my way to make others feel good about themselves and point out their special, unique qualities rather than them feeling intimidated by me. And I feel like that maybe helped. And I don't like that other people look at me and it makes them feel bad about themselves. And I never want anyone to feel that way. And that really, I guess, made me feel bad. So for the open division, when I went backstage, a lot of those girls weren't there anymore, and it was a lot of the older people that had been competing for a while, and I made a big effort to speak to everyone and smile at everyone and get to know everyone, and it was a lot better. I know that a lot of girls looked at me as competition, which to me, I never will understand why they look at me and are mean to me, because I am not the judge, and the way that the judges are going to judge us has no direct correlation to how you are to me and how you treat me. So I will never look at somebody and be angry at them that they are my competition or that they do better than me in a competition. And I think that that's the negative side of these competitions, but not necessarily the way that it should be. And I know that I look at these girls and they are so beautiful. And I have one of the girls that I had only met backstage on my Snapchat, and I'd been talking to her for a few weeks leading into the show, and she has a little girl, and it was great because I got to meet her finally, and we had some awesome talks backstage, and she's just such a beautiful person. But it's I think it's just the perception that people have, and that they're nervous, and those nerves then bring out the worst feelings to themselves, and that's not a cool feeling. So Australia Arnold Classic, and it was a long day. We had to be there at 8:30 in the morning, and I wasn't on stage till 4 p.m. So I was backstage knowing that the girls were grumpy because the girls couldn't cuddle me, and the boys were running around the expo, and there's so many people there, and it was a long day. So out of all three of the comps that I did, my favourite competition was the Arnold Classic America, the Ohio show. I just love that. I love it. I love that the show, when you walk out on that stage, they're playing like elevator music, and it is such an awesome feeling to be on that stage. and knowing that you're up against the best in the world from other countries. I have goosebumps now. There's nothing like it, and it's amazing, and it's such a cool feeling to know that. The other thing that just really made me realize how amazing my marriage is and my husband is that every time I competed, wherever I looked, Nathan was there, just giving me that nod of reassurance, whether it was at the gym, at the comp. When I was on stage, I'd look at him and I knew exactly where he was. I couldn't see anyone else in the crowd, but I could see him. And he's supported me every step of the way, and he was there for me every step of the way. And I think that having him as my coach, knowing that he wants nothing but success for me, really made me trust the process. And I think that with other coaches previously, I hadn't 100% trusted their word, because I have trust issues as it is, and I feel like a lot of the time there might have been an ulterior motive to why they were doing what they were doing, which was a really not a great feeling. Whereas with Nath, because I 100% trust him, and there's not many people in the world that I do 100% trust, that it was just awesome to know that he had my back and that we had given it 100% to get to that point on the stage. And yeah, it's been an amazing experience to have him by my side. So that was really awesome. So what I'll do now is, I think I've covered the cardio, the changes that I made in order to get to the stage. So when I decided 6 weeks out that I would compete, I was following the BOD program. A lot of people are like, what do you do? And I'm like, we literally have spent so many years developing this program and testing it and trialing it and making it exactly perfect for your wall so that you can follow it at a reasonable price without having to do ongoing coaching. So I was following the BOD all the way up. At the 6 week mark, when I decided I'd compete, after having my breast reconstructions, I wasn't doing any upper body or any back. So I needed to start doing that again, and by that stage my back was a lagging body part. So I started doing my back workouts additional, so I was doing an extra 2 workouts of that, and booty. My bum, I needed to bring my bum back up because I never wanted a big bum, that I needed to bring that up. So Nath did heaps of research and heaps of studies into booty training in order to find the best way that was going to bring it up as fast as possible. Funnily enough, a lot of the studies that he had found was that in most cases, if you were training 3 times per week, the lagging body part, it was more beneficial than those that had maybe been training for a year or 2 years, but only 1 time per week. So we made some amazing changes in just 6 weeks by implementing those extra sessions 3 times a week. Throughout those 6 weeks, I didn't change anything of my nutrition. So I didn't lower my calories at all. My fats never went under 70 grams. I was eating 2,500 calories. During my peak week, so a lot of people that haven't competed didn't know what a peak week meant. A peak week is basically where your coach will manipulate your carbohydrate intake in order to bring out your muscle fullness. So to push as much glycogen as possible into your muscles. So he or she will manipulate your carbohydrate intake. Now Nate's a big believer in front loading. Again, for those of you that haven't competed or maybe don't have the understanding behind it, a front load is at the start of your peak week. And that way, if you spill over in carbs, as in get too many carbs into you, you can fix that. But if you spill when it's like the day before your comp or the day of your comp, there's nothing that your coach can do for you. So we're big believers in front loading, and that way we can rectify, and everyone's body reacts differently. So every day he didn't know what was going to happen, so it was basically trial and error every day to see how my body would react and to see how many carbs we'd need to put in. So throughout that whole time, I did not eat under 2,500 calories, and during those peak weeks, I ate more. Massive difference to me compared to the last time that I competed at the Arnold Classic in America. So again, I just am so proud that I was able to do that and be able to bring the best package, eating double the amount of food and no cardio, which really impacted my family life because I was able to be at home more with my kids and working normally. So that was great for me. Okay, so I think I've answered the cardio, nutrition, water depletion, peak week, what's in my comp bag. I'm going to quickly just go to my questions on my Instagram just to make sure that I haven't missed anyone's. Why is my waist so small? So funnily enough, IFBB Bikini didn't usually judge based on abs. So I actually stopped training abs probably, I guess, 6 weeks out, and I didn't do any abs at all because I didn't think that it was judged on abs. And usually if you've got blocky six-pack abs, it goes against you. However, a lot of the girls that I competed against had blocky six-pack abs, so maybe I should have done abs a bit more. Okay, so after comp now, I'm actually leaner than I was on stage, and people are asking why that is. So the reason being behind it is that now that I'm off stage, Nathan wants to increase my calories a bit more, and increasing my food has meant that I have gotten leaner. Not intentionally, however, it's the way my body has responded, which is great. I think I've covered most of these. A lot of people have asked me about they wanting to learn how to pose. I can do another video on that, but it's probably better that I do it in bikinis in the gym to teach you guys how to do it. Everyone will pose differently though, but IFBB Australia have just made their rules a set posing structure, which is great. I think that's awesome. Tips to combat bloating, not really relevant to the comp prep, so I'll do that for another blog or vlog. What division do I compete in? I compete in IFBB Bikini. It's the lowest, well, not that, I shouldn't say that. But it is. It's the start of divisions for IFBB, and it's judged on symmetry, beauty, posing, grace, muscle bellies, leanness, like conditioning. So lots of things. Did I drink protein powder all the way up to comp day? Yes, I did. That was the only supplement that I used. Sometimes I'd have a greens powder. I still use my probiotic. Other than that, nothing. My booty bands saved my life. Seriously, Nathan was literally like, whenever you have a spare 10 minutes, pump those booties. And I was like, okay, booty band, booty band, booty band, non-stop. My necklace, Eden Zoe, I love them. I have a few of them, and they've got beautiful sayings on them for my kids and my husband. How did we take our food to America? So you're allowed to take your food on the plane, you're just not allowed to bring it into the country, so you have to throw it out in the rubbish bins before you go through customs. That's fine. Am I doing a reverse diet post-comp? I'm sort of reverse dieting out, but I'm not at a deficient level of calories, so I'm not really requiring to. I do personally want to not be this lean. I don't like having the veins popping out of my arms, so I do want to put a little bit of body fat on. So I want to do that healthily without ruining my hormones, so I will slowly start to increase my calories. And I did mention on Snapchat about feeling the way that I did it at the Australian Arnold's, and I had a lot of girls that sent me messages to say the exact same thing, which is, it's not a lovely feeling, but a lot of the girls that did message me said that I reached out to them, which made me feel awesome because I knew how it felt, and I don't want anyone to ever feel that way, so I made sure that I was lovely and polite and inviting to anyone that wanted to talk to me or know that I was there for them if they felt that way as well. So that was good. Most of the other questions are not related to comp. Awesome. Okay, well, I'm hoping that I have covered most questions. If you do have any questions, please just comment on my Instagram, and what I'll do is I'll collate them again, and then I will get Nath with a vlog, and we'll do a follow-up for all of the protocols and the science behind it, which may be of interest to some of you out there. If that is of interest to you, I'd love to hear from you. Just comment on my Instagram, maybe tag Nathan in it as well. And yeah, I hope that you have enjoyed following my journey back to the stage after I had the twins. I'm still on cloud 9. I still cannot believe how well I actually did, and I hope that so many other people out there can actually see that if I can do this, that you can too, and that I give you some sort of hope or inspiration from this, because I never thought that I would be able to stand on stage again after having the twins and hold my own, in particular do better than I did before I had the twins. And I really believe that if you believe it wholeheartedly, that you can achieve whatever you want to achieve, and that the sky is honestly the limit with whatever you want to do in life, in comps, whatever it is that you can achieve it. And yeah, if you are looking to compete and you are wanting some guidance, we are fully booked at the moment. However, we do have a waiting list, and we would love to have you a part of our team. Yeah, and always do your research as well.